All. So this is a case on macula or optic. We are discussing on the whether pathology in the macula or optic nerve. This is so I'm going to discuss for a short while. So the combination of macular retinoschisis and serous detachment has been described in cases of optic pit, optic disc coloboma, vitreomacular traction, juvenile schisis, and pathological myopia. And this association of macular schisis along with glaucoma is relatively a new entity. So there are few published articles. This is a peripapillary retinoschisis in glaucomatous eye. In this around 25 cases they have reported, but none of the cases they had macular schisis. So this is another study of macular schisis and detachment associated with presumed acquired enlarged optic nerve head cup, where they studied reported two cases. This is a peripapillary schisis in glaucoma patients with narrow angle and increased intraocular pressure. And this is one more study, macular schisis associated with normal tension glaucoma. And this is one study by Dhingra et al., peripapillary schisis in open angle glaucoma. They studied around 11 cases. So these are few studies I have found in the search. So the studies showed that this type of condition may be associated with all types of glaucoma, normal tension, angle closure, open angle, all types of glaucoma. So the exact pathogenesis is unknown. The source of fluid in the retinoschisis originates from either vitreous cavity or from leakage of CSF through the peripapillary subarachnoid space. One of the most acceptable mechanism may be liquefied vitreous tracks through a break in the thin tissue of the optic cup and into the retina. And considering the published reports, the role of IOP is debatable. Most probably the pathologic changes in the optic nerve head is more important in these cases. So management of this entity can vary depending upon the condition. Spontaneous resolution has been reported, which makes observation a reasonable option. And carbonic anhydrase inhibitors may play a role in these cases. An IOP reduction or improvement in IOP fluctuations may lead to resolution of these cases. And pars plana vitrectomy with gas tamponade has been employed successfully, but in one study by Dhingra et al., they have done around 11 cases of vitrectomy. Out of these, 4 cases developed macular holes. So the risk of macular hole formation is always there. So to conclude, macular schisis and detachment can occur in patients with enlarged optic nerve head cups in the absence of obvious congenital anomalies of the disc. And they may go unrecognized or can be misdiagnosed for other retinal or choroidal diseases and should be suspected and confirmed with ancillary tests like OCT, FFA, and other tests in patients with a large optic cup and abnormal foveal reflex. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manav. So we have a case in which there is glaucoma, high intraocular pressure. We have a large cup in a young person, and we have foveal schisis, not a peripapillary schisis, but a significant foveal schisis. What would be your questions that you want to ask the panel?
So yeah, this is a case really. Actually, it is a case of juvenile glaucoma, rather, and reports in juvenile glaucoma are very sparse. Actually, I could not really find any case on juvenile glaucoma. And my question is, should we do any more tests in these cases? That we have done the genetic analysis, and one more interesting finding in this case, maybe not mentioned, that his elder brother also had some sort of schitic changes in the macula, though he is not a glaucoma patient. So we have, that is why we done the genetic test, but unfortunately could not come to any positive genetic findings. So would you suggest any other test or any other approach in this type of cases?
Anand? Or Dr. Ajit Babu, sir?
I think, sir, you're muted.
Ajit sir is muted. Muted, sir. Please unmute.
Sir, yeah, please unmute.
Mute.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
I have gone through the literature also, and this is a totally new entity to me actually, and it's been reported in 2007.
Exactly.
And there are a series of cases where it has persisted for more than a year without much resolution, with control of the intraocular pressure, and only with vitrectomy it has resolved. This part, I think Manav has not mentioned very clearly. But Manav, I would like you to see what is the relation between the macular detachment. Here it is mainly the macular detachment with the schisis without any connection to the optic nerve head margin.
Yeah.
So we need to establish whether there is any marginal this thing, because whatever cases reported, they have a large cup disc ratio along with macular detachment and foveal cases. Though in the absence of optic nerve pit everyone knows, but in the absence of nerve pit, how it is causing, even though there is a raised intraocular pressure probably temporarily, which must have caused some kind of a macular detachment, we need to establish the connection between these two. So, that is one.
Two mechanisms have been said. One have been said that there is a formation of micropit that can be difficult to detect clinically. This is acquired micropit formation in the optic nerve lamina cribrosa region, or another maybe some sort of break in the internal limiting membrane may cause continuity between the optic nerve and the subretinal space. So this is the only two possible mechanisms explained.
That's why I'm suggesting. That's why I'm suggesting you go through the margin of the disc, whether there is any connection between the macular detachment and the margin of the disc.
Okay.
So,
Have the cases described in literature all been in those where the optic, the cup was say 0.9 or so?
yeah,
Large cup.
That would explain, you see, that's the same thing like creating a pit, no?
exactly.
Yeah, it is
All the way.
only associated with large cups.
Yeah.
Exactly,
So if
exactly.
you
Mention whether it is 0.8, 0.9
then
or
you can always have a small
yeah.
pit being created in the last part
Yes, yes.
because it's already that deep, and the lamina cribrosa is also very thinned out. So
Yeah,
so
And
that-
if you see this case also, the temporal margin is totally, there is no rim at all.
So this
Yeah.
is also,
So there is
your
very
case
much
also was
possibility.
0.9. I mean, it
Yeah.
was more or less at total cupping.
Almost
Total
near
It is
total
not
cup.
exactly 0.9, but the temporal rim is lost.
Yeah.
So
So
the
actually,
on-
just to
possibility is always
add,
there.
Just to add, in normal glaucoma cases also, you can get acquired optic disc pits. Some of them can be buried pits. So you may not actually see it. This is a case where the cupping is so intense that the pit may be shoved deep down. So you may not see it. I mean, but the only other interesting aspect to highlight is that the elder brother you mentioned also had schisis
Schisis.
without any obvious cupping or this thing. So
That's true. Yeah.
there are two things. One is the which I believe you're right that it is this mechanism associated with deep glaucoma. But the other thing is, could it also be a rare variant of X-linked retinoschisis? Did you look specifically in genetic testing for
Exactly. We did the
gene?
yeah, we did the
Because
genetic
there are
test.
some mutations where that same panel does not work. So that is the issue. So and it's exactly two brothers, so two males. So there's a very strong possibility that this could have been this thing, and your OCT shows it to be more towards macular retinoschisis than this. People have reported female foveal schisis also in XLR where similar things are there. It could also be a rare Goldman pit Fabry where also you get macular schisis. But I think what you're mentioning is the right thing, that it's a cup which got immersed and buried because of the very high cupping. So very
And it could also be that it's a family history of glaucoma.
yeah, but they
Not
don't
family
we
history
couldn't
of
find
schisis, but a family history of severe juvenile glaucoma, and consequently the rest of the thing comes out.
Yeah, but the brother didn't have glaucoma.
Brother exactly did not have glaucoma, but he also has a larger cup.
I
Also
want
has
to
a-
interrupt here.
Yeah,
I want
think
to
we
have
move on.
Aishwarya's presentation here, and while her presentation is getting ready, we can discuss.
Yes.
Sure.
Aishwarya, please
Yeah,
put your
very interesting
presentation.
case.
Yeah,
Definitely.
very interesting. The only thing is now the glaucoma is significantly there. Otherwise, we would have been a little. Aishwarya, can you share your presentation?
And as just word of caution, this patient has only tubular fields. So doing vitrectomy and ILM peeling will probably compromise even that central.
Yes,
So
yes,
be very
that's
careful about that.
That is true.
Not indicated.
Not indicated at all.
Vitrectomy.
Conservative management.